Sup Elite, it's Elite for Walkthroughs, and welcome to the IBL Season 2 draft analysis of the Washington Lake Spirits. I am your host, Elite for Walkthroughs, and we just finished up the draft. I can confidently say I am happy with this final draft. I feel confident. I'm going to be saying that a lot because I just feel so proud of myself. Anyways, we are just going to go over all 11 of our picks and then go over analysis of why I picked them and how confident I feel I am in using them. So, first off, I'm going to go in draft order instead of tier order because it helps with the mindset a lot better. And we're just going to go right into it. So first off is going to be like, what do I want to build my entire team around? Like, what's something to build off? Well, last season I went for Latios, and this season I was 4th pick, so I was even more confident. But, you know, just to be on the safe side, I went for Azelf. Now, Azelf is a good mon to build around because it is one of the fastest mons I have on my team. I think it is the fastest, tied with other mons, but it has such strong offenses that can be like played around with. If you want some mon to be defensive, or if you want some mon to be physically offensive, you can be Azelf with specially offensive, and vice versa. If you want something to be specially, you can make Azelf physically just to fill the role. And this thing is a good pivot. It's got stealth rocks, and it's just got so much behind it. I'd argue that it has more than Latios, but I don't know that for sure. And to build off that, when it came back to us 14 rounds later, I still managed to get the mon that I wanted right away, and that was Goodra. Now, Goodra is about the same case. It has good mixed offenses, but this time, we sacrifice a little bit of speed for a crap ton of special defense and HP. Goodra with 150 special defense makes it one bulky mother trucker, and with the ability to slap on an assault vest and have Gooey, you can't hit this thing without it hitting you back, or without being punished in the same way. Or I could just be a dick and run rest hydration and just never die. I could run acid armor, hydration, rest, and just never die. I don't plan on doing that though. I plan on putting Goodra to some good use though. We are going to nickname this Goodra Amalgamate. For those literates who know what the word means, it means a combination of things, in which case this thing's just an amalgamation of slime, if you think about it. But I love Goodra so much. It's honestly a fun dragon type, and I plan on using it in the future quite a bit. Now, after Goodra, I wanted Metagross, but I misunderstood its tier for C, so I'm just like, crap, I want a Seal type. Now, this is where things kind of veer off course, because I could have filled in the spot with Skarmory, which, by the way, never got drafted this season. A lot of things never got drafted this season, and I think that's pretty odd. But instead, I decided to fill in my Eviolite slot with Doublade, a mon that is immune to 3 different types, resistant to even more, and has one of the most offensive types in the game, covering so much. Steel type, it's so good. And a unique typing, huge defense. I believe it's 150 defense. Well, now with an Eviolite, it's even more disgusting. Unfortunately, we have a bit of a weakness on our hands with Dark and Ghost, but we're going to be filling that up real quick. So I decided to fill in my next role with a mon that I didn't really think I would end up drafting. I wanted a hazard remover because I noticed that we didn't have one. We had a rocker and Azelf, but I wanted something to get rid of it. Unfortunately, I didn't want to go into the high tiers just for a rapid spinner. I could have drafted Starmie, but that would just be more knockoff fodder. So I went and invested myself into Torkoal. And Torkoal, one of my favorite fire types, and I use this thing so much in PU, and now that it's got Drought, it's even more fun to use. I can't use it in PU anymore, unfortunately, without it having shell armor, but it's got, again, we have another highly defensive mon, like 140 defense, and I believe 80 or 85 in both of its attack and special attack, but with Drought, things like Eruption suddenly become a large threat. Even in addition, it gets Shell Smash, so heck, just kill everything. And a lot of our mons right now you can't kill in one hit unless they're on the opposing field of defense. You cannot Oko Doublade in one hit physically. You cannot kill Torkoal in one hit physically. You cannot kill Goodra in one hit, especially, unless you were really, really jacked up in stats. But after Torkoal, I noticed that, you know, we need a flying type, because now we have Doublade and Torkoal that are weak to ground. We do have Azelf, but that's not enough when it comes to Mold Breaker or anything that can just slam our face to the ground like Gravity. So what I did was I went into A tier and picked up my flying type, which unfortunately is also another A-tiered electric type, Zapdos. And I'm a bit worried about this pick, mainly because the last like high-tiered electric type that we did got the worst score of the season, with 0 kills and 3 deaths from A tier. A Raikou, no less. And that makes me worry about Zapdos, but Zapdos is a bit different. Again, it is a bulky electric type, kind of hard to kill in one hit, and then there's Roost. You try and hit it physically, static can occur because static is released. We have another Defogger. We can Thunder Wave things just to cripple him, and we can just Volt Switch out with more pivoting. Now, you might start to notice that we are going to start picking up the speed, because I also noticed that our speed is a little bit lacking with Goodra, Torkoal, and Doublade. Don't get me wrong, we have a lot of Trick Room potential, but I still want to be able to be fast. So, really, what's the fastest thing? Prankster, of course, so I went with Whimsicott. And Whimsicott, well, not only does it get Prankster, so it's, you know, fast by default with all of its non-offensive moves, but it also has it is also rocking a solid 115 speed, if I recall. I don't really look at these stats. Hold on a minute. I believe it's 115 or 113. 116, so it can speed creep things. Ah, I'm smart. But anyways, Whimsicott may be quad weak to poison, but it is an easy switch in for Doublade. As well as Whimsicott can also, you know, lock opponents into certain things with Taunt and Encore, as well as a lot of other bits and bobs, and it is also boosted by Torkoal's Drought with Chlorophyll, and that can be so much fun. I may have let that slip out a little bit, but I thought it was pretty obvious. But I'm glad to have finished up my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, as well as added onto my Fire Grass Water Core. And to finish off the water, I went into A tier yet again to pick up a fighting type that really only seemed like the one fighting type that fit my team and one that I was comfortable with, and I went for Keldeo. No experience with Keldeo, I might add. The only sort of Justice I have any experience with is Cobalion, but Keldeo looks like something that I would get used to. Again, it's a good speed set of 108, so it can speed creep anything with 105. It has a good 129 special attack, so it can hit hard. It has Secret Sword, which blocks any sort of defensive investment, like Stockpile or Curse. Or I guess not Curse because it's special, but not to mention it can also be physical. It has a poor attack stat, if I recall, like 72, but it does get things like Close Combat and Aqua Jet, so I am looking forward to that. And I may look into its move pool just a bit more, because I haven't really looked at it that much. I don't know much about Keldeo, but I do know enough about it to the point where it is very useful and can be, not to mention, like, justified. If anyone wants to knock off, I can switch in Keldeo, get a +1, and then do some damage. I don't know, it has lower attack than Furfrou. But now we have kind of covered all of our C tiers, all of our A tiers, and all of our B tiers. Really, the only thing that I can do at this point are draft 2 D tiers and 2 E tiers. So I went into D tier, and I picked out my Poison and Dark type of the series, returning from the PPC, I might add, Drapion. Now, Drapion for me is a fun mon to use. It is very safe. It is a very assault vest, I guess, adapted mon. You can easily run assault vest on it and not give a crap. You can run Scarf if you wanted to. Battle armor easily prevents it from getting crit. Only one weakness in ground, which is easily counterable by Keldeo, Whimsicott, as well as a couple other members of the team. It is also, you know, a switch in for any sort of toxic spikes, any sort of toxic. We can toxic in return. We can set up our own toxic spikes and hazard stack. We can pursuit trap. And it has a lot more behind it that I can't wait to really use, because it has a safe speed stat that can't really be used in Trick Room or any sort of sweeping material. But it is definitely a safe mon for me to use, and I'm glad that I got it, because it is one of the very few mons that I do have experience with in League Battle, and quite a lot of it. And after that, I went into E tier to pick out a mon, and I really didn't see much in E tier that was useful. What I wanted to do was try and find a bug type. I could not find one. I wanted a fast mon. I want more fast mons. Because with the addition of Drapion, again, it kind of lowers our speed average, but I wanted to go above and beyond. And then I noticed a mon that I wanted to have a little fun with. Probably the one mon that I have the biggest affection for outside of the Lake Spirits, and that is Floatzel. My favorite water type of all time has joined the Lake Spirits. Once again, okay, I need to go into a little something. Floatzel has shown up a lot of times in our playthroughs. He has shown up in our, I believe he showed up in our very first Pokemon playthrough, Blaze Black. I don't recommend watching that, by the way, because that is very outdated and just unprofessional. He showed up in our Platinum Randomizer, which, again, unprofessional, don't really recommend. He showed up in Theta Emerald. He showed up as our starter and our Y randomized. He showed up a lot over our playthroughs, and I used him a lot of PU as well. I just have such a strong affection for Floatzel, and I love it so much, and he is surprisingly viable in League battles because he gets priority in Aqua Jet, he gets bulk up Baton Pass, he has Water Veil, so you cannot Will-O-Wisp it at all. Like, you can try all you want, but you're not gonna succeed. He's a pretty big glass cannon, but he is fast. He pairs up in speed with Azelf, as well as, you know, just being one below Whimsicott. And you can also run him specially because it gets access to Focus Blast, as well as a couple other moves, and he has a lot of utility behind it. And I'm pretty sure that I'm missing a lot of utility, but I know he gets things like Pursuit, Encore, and Switcheroo. Yeah, he does get Switcheroo, so that's gonna be a whole lot of fun. But this is one mon that I'm happy that I got. I was hesitant at first, but I really love Floatzel, and I want him to put in the finest of work. I don't want him to die once, but I probably just jinxed it. But then after Floatzel, I noticed that I needed a fill-in for Electric type because, well, not an Electric type to fill in my team. I needed something for Electric types because the only thing that can really handle it are Zapdos and Goodra. Maybe Whimsicott. Whimsicott sure ain't bulky though. 75 special defense, no dice. So I'm just like, we need a ground type. Every drafting team needs a ground type. And in E tier, there are next to no useful ground types, except for one. And it is Sandslash. Sandslash, once again, we have another rocker, we have another spinner, and we have another slow, physically defensive mon. We have a lot of these, by the way. Have you seen a pattern? We have We have Doublade, Torkoal, and Sandslash. Kind of in Drapion, but Drapion's kind of fast. But we have a lot of slow and physically defensive Mons. And Sandslash, once again, can kind of do its job very well. But it's a good counter for electric types. It can't really handle ice types very well, but nevertheless, it can hit pretty hard. And it does have some moves behind it. You can easily run defensive things because it gets things like Super Fang. So that's just a whole lot of fun. And not to mention that it can benefit from Sand with Sand Rush and double its speed and then kill everything with Earthquakes. But that is a time for another day, because that was just for an answer for electric types. And after that, it was really just fair game in D tier. And I didn't really see anything that much. I wanted an answer for ice types, because the only answer we did have for ice types was Keldeo and Doublade. But those aren't taking special ice moves, I tell you that much. But we have a pretty strong weakness to ice. Like, if I look at our team, we got Zapdos is weak to it. We have... I mean, we do have Torkoal and Floatzel, but those still aren't taking it. We have... yeah, Sandslash, Whimsicott, Goodra, and Zapdos, all weak to ice. But we have no resistances other than... Alright, we have Doublade, Torkoal, and Floatzel, and Keldeo. But those aren't... Again, those aren't really helpful. Does Keldeo have good special defense, actually? I'm actually... the fact that I'm looking this up right now, but... Does it? Base 90, base 91 HP. I guess it can take a couple ice hits. But instead, I decided to go for another ice type because, of course, ice resists ice. It's the only type that honestly resists itself. It's the only type that resists ice. Except steel. I'm an idiot. But anyways, I decided to lock onto an MVP from the PPC once again. The Mon that went 5 kills, 0 deaths. And the Snowflake that killed a Mega Charizard X. Cryogonal. Now, once again, Cryogonal helps our speed just a little bit more by 105. Has good special attack. And has gargantuan special defense. Oh my god, this thing's special defense is amazing. Now, this thing's physical defense and HP is kind of meh. It did get buffed in Gen 7. It's still meh and dies to a bullet punch. But, once again, we have our third spinner, I might add. We have a third rapid spinner. But this thing's move pool is pretty shallow. It does get Haze to get rid of any sort of stat boost. It does have Rapid Spin, Recover, Magic Coat to bounce hazards. Not like we need them because we have 4 ways to get rid of hazards. But it has some good offense behind it as well. Very basic, but that just makes it all the more fun to use. But Cryogonal was a fun mon to have in the PPC, and I can't wait to kill some good old water types with this thing's freeze dry. Snowflake is going to cause some blizzards tonight. And that is our entire draft. Now, we are required to give one Mon the ability to wear a Z Crystal. Now, I personally, not fond of Z Crystals. I really don't like the concept of them. People that are unfamiliar with them won't use them, and people that know them too well will proceed to catch you off guard in ways that you could never even imagine. However, it was mandatory, so I decided to put it on the Mon with probably the biggest variety in it. Goodra. Not Azelf, Goodra. This is because Goodra has a lot more options besides offense with its Z move. I'm not going to go into detail with that because I want to pull some tricks out of my sleeve in order to do that. And I want to do that sometime in the future if it comes to light. Now that's all said and done, our first week starts next week. We are up against Joseph Games and the Chester Chinchows, a former coach who we never got a chance to fight. So, and his team is terrifying, not gonna lie. He has threats. And I started team building for him and I'm just like, oh, that Mon actually is dangerous. If he's watching this, he's probably gonna start looking for that Mon. and I'm not gonna even hint at it, because if he realizes what mon blows through my team, then I'm in trouble. But that's enough rambling for today. I believe for walkthroughs, if you're excited for the Washington Lake Spirits to come back with a strong vengeance and a better team, don't forget to crunch that like button, subscribe if you already haven't for future episodes and battles. This has been the draft analysis of the Washington Lake Spirits. See ya.